Oh, yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's all fun. I never, it's funny because like Jaden said, okay, kitchen's spot in between the two, it's the old stuff. So there's like the new stuff around it, which actually the old stuff, but I think it was good. Yeah, I like seeing my best to see the same thing now. I'm fine too.
I love my brain.
Especially when you start staring. Yes. Support solar is yes, you know, I see so much food. Right, I'm cool with cheese.
We're running the U. So I'm the live stream, so you start anytime. I'd like to go with the chat.
Great. All right, so we are at 6:30. Let's call this meeting to order. Do a brief roll call. Emily Hauser, who's the usual chair, is excused. Kevin McCoy, secretary, here. Jen Adams, Ray Kranicki, Brendan Walsh, Ashley Walter, all here. Glenn Falk's here, Julie Noble is here, and we have guests. Can we go just for the minutes in order? Maybe you want to start with just reading where you're coming from?
I'm in Garden, I live on the street. Barbara Scott on Spruce Street.
I'm Jonathan Estelle, I live on West Chestnut.
I'm Alex Stewart, and I live on Broad Street. That, it's Walter Rich, but.
It's Walter Rich.
So.
Walter Rich. I will not forget.
No.
I'll remind you twice.
Okay.
All right. Well, now is the time for public comment. Do we have any public comment that's not already on the agenda?
I'm not sure. What's on the agenda?
You are on the agenda a little further down. If you're talking about the Oscars.
I have nothing too. I don't know which one I'm left.
The Bird City thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Those notifications are.
They are.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify, is in communications, is the CAC email, like Alex's membership, or is that a separate?
No, that CAC email, item is just discussing as a team here, what will happen and with the CAC actual email.
Okay. Then,
So yes, the modification agenda is adding CAC membership, which has been a running item, but I had taken it off in advance and then.
Now, if this would be,
right.
okay, well, we can do that next.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to mention, I don't know if it's on the agenda, I don't think it is, the planning department and planning board been requiring applicants to do parking studies and all sorts of things around parking that are not required in the code. And in fact, we've got a generic environmental impact statement for the zoning code that sort of shows how those things are already dealt with by the code itself. And they're also asking for people to talk about infrastructure, the impacts of infrastructure, which is also identified in the code, and dense development in, there's one recently they were talking about in the T4 neighborhood, Furnace Street. So it's a real problem where the planning board doesn't have anybody on it who understands the negative environmental impacts of sprawl and the reason for the parking reform in the code. So I think that it's really important to be watching them the way that they are treating applicants in an unfair way. They went as far with this Furnace Street one from last month, asking them to come back with alternatives with less housing. And they talked about impacts. And of course, there's now the difference in seeker review, but they were making a bigger deal of seeker than our code requires. So in Kingston, seeker wasn't an impediment. It's the planning board that's using seeker as a weapon and actually having seeker reviews when reviewing stuff. Actually, in Kingston, they don't do often I have never seen them do a positive environmental impact for anything that they've reviewed. What they do instead is they sort of threaten it with the applicants and make them make all these changes before it even becomes a public process of review. And they're regularly doing that now. they all need to study the impacts, we need to study the impacts, and so what kind of impact is this gonna have on parking availability, what kind of, when they're elevating these, people are writing in and saying this is gonna have an impact on-street parking or on our infrastructure, things that were addressed in the generic environmental impact statement, and the planning department and board are not explaining how that's not appropriate. Instead, they're actually elevating those voices and asking the developers to come back with alternatives. So I think it's something to really track. I think that one solution would be to get some better people on the planning board, but also to get the planning department some better training. As we comment.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other public comment?
Oh, I was just here. I think it's on the agenda. That's for you all. Yeah. Where are you up, Gary?
Alrighty, then, we can modify the agenda and move up the new member section here. Do we want to do that now? Great, so, Alex, the way this typically works is.
Here, let me sit here, it's so awkward.
No,
You sit wherever you like.
I can even take the.
Oh, please, I could possibly,
So the way this typically works is, you've expressed interest in joining the council, and, when you decide that you'd like us to take a vote on whether or not you join, we'll enter into the executive session, and we'll ask everyone to leave the room. We'll talk about, what strengths you can bring to the board. We'll vote on whether or not to recommend that the mayor appoints you to the board, and then everyone can come back in. But before that point, usually we have some space if you want to talk about why you're interested in joining the board and what you hope to achieve here. This is like a nice forum for that.
Great.
And if you'd like, you can just sit time, or if you want to do the vote now, you do it now too.
I don't think I'm prepared for the vote right now. I'm also interested in sort of seeing what is taking place here. I will tell you that my personal interest is that I've lived in Kingston for almost 10 years now. I myself am a local landscape designer, and I have a unique perspective on dealing with homeowners. And I myself live on an interesting property that, you know, I met with Kevin before, City Land Trust, working on a lot of conservation efforts for essentially not a historic home, but a historic property that used to be very important to Kingston and was once forgotten. It's on Pearl Street. You can't see it from the road. I look forward to. I know the one you're talking about. Okay.
I think,
Great. Well, not the lady who's hammering away at the limestone. I'm the other lady with the limestone. But anyhow, but also, you know, I deal with regularly talking to homeowners and maybe helping them appreciate and see and have new appreciation for things they should be mindful of and conserving on their properties, no matter how big or small. And myself, I've had a keen interest in a lot of the invasive plants we're seeing regularly in Kingston, and how do we talk to homeowners about that? How do we pique their interest? There's a lot of like tone deafness to an invasive plant, let's say. They might say that was my grandmother's favorite plant, for example. So last year I took it upon myself to create this little zine with an illustrator, Emily Isabella, about the lanternflies and tree of heaven. We distributed hundreds of copies of those. And the approach was a bit of like a handwritten letter. I brought one just as sort of an example. It was printed so much smaller than I anticipated, but anyhow, I'm interested in beautiful things. I have a deep interest in Kingston's garden legacy and the Ulster County Garden Club and how influential they were. And right now, for me, I sort of see this gap in what happens next for Kingston and what happens. Yeah, how do we continue many of the great ideas that were started, you know, 100 years ago? So anyway, that's a little bit of a spiel.
that's a great spiel.
That's great.
Well, you're welcome to sit and watch, and if anyone has any questions, as we're going through this, feel free to chime in.
Great. We had this extra agenda. Did we get that order?
Nice. If you're interested in it, anyone else wants to copy this? Great. So let's move on to last month's minutes.
I had trouble opening and change those, but they just opened now. Got this. Well, we're not gonna try to troubleshoot that.
Okay.
No, as long as they're open, fine. It doesn't look like there's anything.
Yeah, I'm still seeing the $200 misprint.
Yeah, I'm changing that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it, that was, well, no, the $200, I think was okay. I think,
Oh, for the Earth Fair, I see. Okay.
yeah, but what isn't okay is the balance remaining. I
Right,
did this dyslexic thing. Where what we have left is not 665, 69. That's what we spent.
gotcha.
Right.
Of our budget.
Right, that was the email I sent out.
Right.
I sent the email, I sent that back with, when Julie confirmed that,
Okay.
that what I sent was the budget. So we have 334.31 remaining. I text all that to the study here. And yeah. And anything else? Julie's got a few things here which will come up when I do a spell check on Emily. And if they don't, we'll insert them. There'll also be some formatting on this. Get these changes in and some formatting issues. We'll resolve all of that.
Okay.
That's all editorial, not substantive.
I had a quick question, I
Yeah.
wasn't here last time, just, it says that the leftover soil from the Earth Fair went to like a different site, does anyone remember where that was?
Yes, it was, there was the median on, Pine Grove.
Mm. Oh, just right, I was like, perfect, cool. So we didn't hold on to that giant bag of soil? after?
We did not, but the city used it well.
Good.
So any other notes on the minutes here?
Thanks.
Then can we get a motion to accept the minutes?
I motion, is that the correct? So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Minutes are accepted. Okay, we're going to move on to old business, item A, the air quality idling warning follow-up. That's me, and I still have not done that. I'm sorry. I have a lot of stuff going on this next month.
Mhm.
It's going to happen now that it's getting hot.
And remind me, the last steps were we're gonna speak with the local police departments essentially, right?
So we talked with the traffic enforcement and they're on board. We need to make sure that it, what is it called? The corporate counsel, the legal department, is okay with us,
Okay,
distributing information through them.
all right.
Okay, planning and land use. We want to start in this order with Frog Alley.
Frog Alley is closed.
Yeah, should we remove this from future?
Yeah, that could have been taken off. I
Okay.
mean, it was left, whatever comment may or may not be after the fact or come from the engineering department would be. That's something we would do.
Mhm.
That brings us to Furnace Street. This wasn't on the agenda for May and it's not on the agenda for June, as far as I can tell.
To go to the planning board,
Yeah.
okay.
You guys know anything different?
Have they announced the June?
It's not on the
Yeah,
agenda.
I didn't see it there.
Nothing's been submitted to any collab either, so it's as it was last month.
That's worrisome to me that they're having to spend so much time going back to the drawing board unnecessarily and illegally being pressured to do that.
Do you want me to remove Furnace Street from the future agenda?
Well, it'll be in
No, it'll
after
come
June,
back.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come back at some point.
Okay.
I would suspect so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And Alex, just for your reference, when we're going through, these are each like developments being proposed to the planning board, but we decide on new developments. So that's essentially what we're going through, like past developments we've, looked at or had comments about, we're doing the same right now. So,
And that role of the CAC is advisory, not regulatory.
Does the CAC want to write anything to have you guys written something to them about it, about furnace?
We did make comments on Furnace Street about the available green space and some other landscaping related things. I don't think we commented on parking. And so, except maybe insofar as I think they had a drain. Oh, some kind of water drain that was with the parking space. Yes, or a non-permeable pavement. Yeah.
Well, what they're asking the applicants to do is to come back with an alternative for less density, which is sprawl. And they're weighing comments that do not understand the intent of the code, which is like, we want some on-site parking, which is more sprawl. So there's a real environmental impact to sprawl. And the intent of the code is also broken down to transects, and T4 is actually pretty very much about fighting sprawl and encouraging walkability and local resources, access to local resources. And so I think Furnace Street is a great sort of prime example of how we're still leaving a lot of discretionary decisions up to the planning board and making residents think that their inappropriate comments are going to be weighed. When it's an opportunity for the planning board to educate the residents in what the zoning code actually says and the intent of the code. So it's a shame. It's like the planning board needs to be educating the public about the zoning code and what it is, but that we don't have anybody on the planning board who's capable or willing to defend the planning. And I don't believe that the planning department likes the zoning code either.
Well, we'll keep this in mind when it comes back around, if there's any more space for comment. Thanks for bringing this up. All right.
144. Emily submitted I
Yeah,
was able to open Emily's email, it's just like the problem, it's getting the traction is on this. They weren't showing up, that's what was happening, it's a word issue. But back to 160. Yeah, I put Emily's comment in here, or text, rather. Emily submitted comments on May 16th and covered EV charging, solar installation, heating, refuse and recycling, as well as native plantings. We went back and forth with a couple of other items that were discussed, and I don't know if she submitted those or not. The LED lighting, I'm not sure if that got.
Yeah, so you did address learning.
She did, and I'll put that in here. I don't recall seeing the final version. We were back and forth.
I think it's on top of your yeah,
Oh, it's on Uniclub. All right, I didn't check there for comment. Okay. I'll do that.
that's the city's planning board essentially adopting
So
and
the
voting.
LED will add LED light
Any
to this.
development here, that's the what's been submitted for that, so.
The planning board voted unanimously to table the application to allow additional time for the applicant to submit and the planning board to review plan components and newly submitted information. That I got all of their minutes.
And this is for this project.
Yeah, that's for the 160 project.
But she addressed EV charging, refuse and recycling, lighting, solar, heating, stormwater, erosion control, sediment control, landscaping and planning.
I think I got all of it, except I left the LED.
Yeah, it was interesting, in the code, I was reading this, that invasive plants need written justification. That was interesting. Native spring, yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Thank your board for actually making the planning board to start watching that, because they weren't until you guys reminded them to start watching that.
The non-native plants?
Yeah, it's been a real learning curve for the planning department because they're so resistant to the code that the first year they weren't acknowledging that part of the code.
We're ready to move on to the next one.
I think so.
The final.
Do you want me to keep this one on the agenda?
That, it's taking a break and then.
Yeah, they don't come back.
Yeah,
And, if it doesn't come back next month, it'll be coming back sometime. I don't think they're going away.
Okay.
They're just gonna come up with a new plan. or amendment.
Okay.
Um, 503 Washington. Emily prepared and sent comments on May 16th suggesting that adequate measures be taken to protect the infrastructure in case of flooding, since the site is in the 100-year floodplain.
Right.
This is not on the June agenda.
Oh, this project.
Yeah, that one maybe we could take off.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have any further comments really, will we?
I think that's sums it up unless there's
That's
extra change.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's two newish, well, one of them is an old item revisited. And
Yeah, it's
that's
not-
it. And one is a new item. The new item was Hutton Brickyard. The applicant proposes to relocate the existing seasonal riverfront pavilion restaurant operation to the existing Lidgerwood Pavilion. And the Lidgerwood Pavilion is where the crane is. That's a special type of historic crane that they use to put crates of grains on barges. You'll see it where the restaurant area is, if you go down there to the Brickyard. This will allow the restaurant to operate year round. The city engineer provided floodplain comments as follows, indicating that similar comments would apply to any floodplain project. And I thought this was really good that Von Schultheis did this, because it'll provide direction for us to it's going forward. So what John put in his email was is one, to pick the regulatory floodway. Note that the firm, that's the FEMA map, does not show a floodway at its location. So yeah, that's a whole thing with Hutton Brickyard. There's a lot of stuff that was reviewed during a previous secret review for a project that was never built. There's wetlands as well that are not mapped, but they're in secret. So yeah, the DEC knows about them, but.
This current plan is showing 100-year floodplain elevation.
Right, and it'll probably show the wetland, well, no, it's not big enough to show the whole site, but yeah, when Hutton does submit their full plan, they do show that wetland in the center there.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think that's,
It's not involved.
I don't think that's gone through the DEC mapping
Can someone
process.
remind me, and that's the, what is it, the Lidgewood location there?
The Litchwood would be in front of the, Litchwood.
Okay,
Currently, there's a restaurant here,
okay, that's the.
ditching that, and they're making this, which is a large open pavilion,
Right.
dancing in it right now, into
Okay.
the restaurant, which will be enclosed.
Okay, so they're co-opting where the restaurant used to be into the new pavilion?
To be TBD.
It's a,
I don't know if they've determined what's gonna be.
that pavilion's been there for a long time.
Alright,
This river pavilion is existing. It also used to be a restaurant
Right.
with farmhouse
Wow.
and industrial. Yeah.
Awesome. What was it called?
Gosh, you even asked what it's called. Kevin, what was it called?
Gee, I gotta go into the Sailor's Cove. So that, and then go back to Arthur Green. That's we did, that's what's Arthur Green.
Did they slaughter it on site?
No, now
No one's answering your questions.
I'm just the food good. It was just those Arthur Green Arthur Green is quite.
Yeah, so 25, then if you create like those, make the full, yeah. They have a little hamster ball and fly.
You milk your own cow.
And do all. Yeah. Fun, we can take that kind of the middleman from the table.
Is
Is it possible to get them during this review process to address other concerns you might have? Someone mentioned once to me that they have some issues with how they've addressed the wetlands and other parts of the property. For example, can you raise that to them at this time, or is that in?
As in their management, like the landowner's management of the wetlands? Or-
Yeah, but not directly on their property, but not directly related to the restaurant.
Do you know the location? There's the wetland in the center of the site.
There's also on the side,
Yeah,
outside where
right.
they've made path, which I like, but someone pointed out that it's supposed to be elevated. It's not supposed to be actually in the wetlands.
That path was mandatory,
On there,
mandatory added by the city.
What, sorry, what was mandatory?
There's like a little mini path that's called like Overlook Path or something that I believe we mandated that they put in because they built this whole thing and didn't provide any public access. And so there was a mandated path that was put in, which is like for here.
But it's not really elevated, because they're actually filling in the wetlands to do that.
Oh, you're talking about the other path,
Yeah, the other
which
side.
they did on their own.
Oh.
That is the path that everyone uses to get over to the North Street to the beach.
Oh, that one.
Oh, that's not-
Which I like the path, I'm just wondering, like,
So yeah, the cut through from, this is not a good map of this, but the cut through from Kingston Point over to North Street that everyone uses as like the Empire State Trail is not.
but they could elevate it and that would be fine. I mean, a wetland, you could go through a wetland with an elevated trail. It just costs.
That would be a TEC determination whether it's fine.
Oh, but anyway, the point, I don't really want to dwell on this specific case, I'm just asking you, can you at this juncture, given that they want to do something, if the CAC saw that there was a problem on their land, is that possible to raise that in conjunction with this, or it has to be only directly related to their project?
Well, you could raise it, but the question is, if it's within scope of what the planning board review is,
Right.
they may not review it. I mean, we can comment, but.
Right, I mean, we're, like we were saying earlier, we're an advisory council, so we basically just give comments on environmental impacts of proposed projects. If we, come to learn something like this, we could, I assume, put that in a comment, but that doesn't necessarily,
Okay,
we can't necessarily require any action from that,
okay.
if that makes sense.
I certainly can
Okay,
check that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the city engineer. Okay, so we're depicting the floodway. That's one of the things you'd like to see, and this would be for most projects that are in a floodplain. Determine the base flood elevation. And then there are a lot of technical specs there, which we won't go into for the moment. Three would be confirm the vertical data, and provide a benchmark. That's whether they're using the NAVD or something else.
and that's seeing like the heights.
That's to be able to compare when you're having one source of data versus another source of data to make sure you're actually comparing actual elevations of water and actual elevation of land, so they're all in the same unit.
Got it,
And the preferred unit is NA88.
okay.
Confirm mechanical and electrical equipment meet code, and he's got a specific section of the zoning that he's referring to. 405-27.5. And confirm the finished floor, 45-27.6. I'd have to look that up, I don't.
Right.
Floodplain development permits will be required, elevation certificate will be required. If we were to make a comment, I would think this would be similar to what we just did over at 503 Washington, sending a comment.
Just
to
to account
support-
for floodplain.
to support the city engineer's comments, so if we want to do that.
Okay. I mean, yeah. These plans seem pretty simple, like, I don't see anything for like, stormwater. Trash removal or anything, yeah.
That's all established on the site already.
Oh, I see, so there's.
That's the crane in the middle picture. And I once almost got hit with a couple of St. Hudson staff members by a falling chandelier in there.
No way.
As if they
Well,
tried,
that's-
wait, as if they tried to drop the chandelier on you?
We were wondering that. Yes, but it was an official site visit and yeah, it was like, whoops, get out of the way. Yeah.
So given that there's already a pavilion and they're going to site the new restaurant and there's no changes to stormwater or anything, right? mean, that's already,
Yeah, and if the engineer's already raising comments about the floodplain and
Yeah.
asking them to account for it, I don't think we necessarily need to comment.
Okay.
Is that agreed upon?
yeah, I think that makes sense, unless someone really wants to write a letter in support of the city engineer.
Well, it would be like what Emily did on the 503 Washington was like one sentence.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, if you want me to do that, I'll send Sue and Kyla one sentence. We support the comments of the city engineer. We're glad you looked into it and we think that they should keep these recommendations going forward for other projects. And we should too.
I do think that that is maybe worth memorializing.
Yeah, that's why already put it into the minutes when I saw it. It's like,
Great.
hey, this is important.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, well, I agree. So,
Okay, if you want me to,
would you mind?
yeah, well, that'll be
Great.
2 or 3 sentences, but it's gonna be an email. I'm not gonna do the whole thing on a letter.
Right. Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you, Ken,
okay.
as always.
The last one is 615 Broadway and 35 Cedar. That's back with an amended plan, and I think we ought to start looking at that. It's not on the agenda, but
Should we add it? Are available?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I downloaded the plans, but I didn't have time to work through them. Since it's not on the agenda, I don't think a comment by Friday or Monday, whatever the deadline is significant. Yeah, 615 and 35 Cedar. What the amended plans cover, I think there's landscape, stuff within our purview, such as landscaping, lighting, stormwater. Those three items
So,
we'd be looking at.
yeah, you're saying this is for turning back, I don't recognize that. How old do you, I think I saw 2024 somewhere, is this 2 years old?
Yeah, it could be, it's the old King's Insight, and it sort of goes around onto Cedar through back.
You said stormwater index was changed?
Well, landscaping, lighting, stormwater, and well, also the size of when adjusted the building dimensions. I mean, I don't know if that concerns us so much. Unless that triggers a different discussion. Right, like if they took out native plantings, increase the building, maybe.
Well, it looks like they
It's
just
just a
put
lot
lands.
line adjustment plan.
Yeah,
Oh, there's a bunch of plans. I
was gonna say, that's what it said, landscape.
There's 3 other.
Oh, site plan and
Right, there's 3 other things there.
maybe that's a letter.
sure it's in there, so.
Commission drawings final amended approved. That was 5/14/26.
Let's go.
They submitted this as new business at the last meeting.
There's lot line adjustment, it's demo. It's site plan, it's probably what's on space. Open space area. Maybe charging stations.
Mhm.
Open space area.
Wait, what? Pedestrian.
Pedestrian access.
Yeah, it still just says landscape though, it doesn't say like specific plants or.
There might be another, there might be.
Yeah,
landscape
that'd be a
plan.
different drawing for that.
Site grading, drainage, utilities, erosion and sedimentation, landscape plan overlay.
So let's see, where's their code?
All right, so there's evergreen, large shrubs, deciduous shade and street trees, deciduous shrubs and glasses, correct? See plant list, LL2, here we go. There's our plant list.
Oh, look at that.
Green maples, hornbeam, blue spruce. Sneeze weed.
There we go. That's what I signed up for.
Come back, Louise. Don't stop this thing. Yes, looks fine. Girl, thumbs up.
A vote
Not
on,
seeing red flags.
yeah,
Okay.
Site lighting, photometrics.
does anyone remember this site or what we commented on before? Or if we commented before?
No, project for 1,000,000 years. And. I mean. We could have commented years ago, I don't remember if we did anything recently.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if someone happened to remember him to be. Um. I mean, that's not on the agenda for next month, right? So we have time to look at that again.
Yeah, sure. So that's why I just brought it up, because it wasn't on the agenda, so I just wanted to bring.
Yeah.
Attention to this thing.
So let's add that, I guess, to our different.
Yeah, and maybe review what comments this board had last time.
Alright.
I will not have that on this, there'll be on this, it's not here.
I
So,
love how you call it a disc, but it's just a flash drive.
well, it's got a lot of stuff on it.
Do we recall why, excuse me, why it was taken off the agenda before? Was there some major problem it ran into, or?
Not that I know of.
The city project on Broadway,
16, yeah.
it was approved and then now it's back.
With a
You
new.
know, that was some amendments, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Interesting.
so it's sort of their own volition.
Yeah, well, they had some things that they didn't know that the VEC wanted, or there's some more hoops they had to jump through that caused them to change the, have to change the plan based on other requirements that were outside the city. They could fund leaders.
Is that it kind of?
Yeah, I think we're good on planning for the moment. So, the wrap up will be, there's something on Hyde Brickyard, and we'll take a look at that site plan. Over to the Indians.
Sweet. Thank you, Kevin. So let's move on to native plantings, pollinator gardens.
Do you have anything?
I don't think we have anything. We could maybe take this off unless we have more plans to distribute our milkweed, yes, or our postcards.
We should probably.
We should bring them around. We need to fill up the.
Well, the ones here got taken pretty quickly, right?
Which is a great sign.
So we should put them out very.
Time to get them, I didn't see it.
Yeah,
Next time we're gonna do-
No one else can do it for you.
Yeah.
You got all the cards.
Okay, I also still have your.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure something.
Nice.
Might just be something to think about, like you have a banner and you have materials, are there other venues for cabling besides just the earth fair?
I mean,
Would be valuable.
I've seen Kingston Land Trust have like planting events or like going to some of the city, like open plot gardens. I don't know.
Yeah, why don't we make it a standing piece of business that we bring any opportunities for spreading the good word and we talk about it here.
I can take on trying to find a new avenue to like push this or opportunities for it. I can look into
That'd
that.
be great. And another thing to think about, and I was gonna bring this up later in the reports and updates, but the Ulster County Environmental Management Council CAC Roundtable, which is where all of the different CACs from across the county get together to talk about what they've been doing. That's at the end of August.
Oh.
And, that might be a good space to share the resource we've made. Since it's applicable to everybody,
Which resource?
the native planning resource.
Oh, that, yes, I know. Gotcha.
I'd like to go.
Hmm?
If someone else leaves some space, I'll cover that. I think that's the really important thing we do is that get together with other CACs, because so many of your problems need to be addressed across a bigger area.
Yeah, yeah, it would be great if any of us can go, it's possible. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, end of August.
End of August 26th.
So what, do you want me to remove native plantings and pollinator gardens from the agenda?
I was gonna look and see if there's opportunities and maybe if there's nothing clear as an initiative for next time we can, does that make sense? Like if I find something as a clear opportunity for us to take on, then we can maybe discuss that next time. And if I don't, we could be like, okay, we're focusing on other things for the time being.
I think that makes some sense, and I also feel like we need to keep it on here so Ray remembers to bring postcards.
Yeah. Alright.
I second that. Great. Okay, action on wetland preservation. Emily did send an email around. She had some things to say about that. Update on the DEC's regulations of wetlands.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I copy and pasted that, do you want to read it or?
I am looking for it right now, so if you have.
I probably even reasonably clean the text rather than here. So Emily reported that the CAC should review the website link below for update specifics. That was the link, right?
Oh.
That's gonna be in the minutes.
I think that was just,
And I think it was in the minutes already,
okay.
so
I think that was just the DEC's like webpage, right?
that's
No,
what
it
she
was
said to
the
do.
announcement about regulations would have been like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she summarized it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of our wetlands are still unusually important. So all of ours are still regulated. So
Okay.
that's the takeaway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Not all.
You know,
It's
doesn't it
only-
say,
It's only wetlands over 12.5 acres.
but
No, she
there were
says.
wetlands of
previously
individual
mapped.
importance that are less than 12.4 acres that continue to be regulated.
They've been previously mapped.
Didn't she say something though, like all of ours are still?
Well, we need to look at this.
For sure, no, not all of ours are regulated.
Okay, well, I guess this is my reading of Emily, so I guess we should go to the source.
Yeah, so I did that.
You did,
It sounds like
Oh.
you did.
so,
Okay.
and for sure, it's
It
just,
says-
if they're previously.
It says like, if you go to the website, I don't know if you know that, it says under there, or you can, it says very clearly that it's, the only things regulated are wetlands over 12.4
Okay.
and, previously mapped,
So nothing about unusual importance
No.
anymore.
unless it's previously mapped as unusual.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
We're
mapped,
gonna buy- Okay, well, that is
mapped by,
a much smaller subset of our wetlands. then.
before January of 25.
Yeah,
Don't go on.
Yeah, I was a bit unclear from their website.
Okay.
From their website, it seems like they're sort of accepting it for now and might like just try and resubmit. If I saw it until 2028 somewhere,
yeah, that's when the number goes down to 7 point whatever.
anyway, it'll come down to that. And
I think they didn't strike that down, that part is still in effect.
Okay.
But the unusual importance part is gone.
Okay, that's now.
And the new map is gone.
And the DEC doesn't seem like they're going to, what's the word?
I do not know the inner workings of DEC right now.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at this all over.
Yeah,
I would say, if I could interject,
Yeah.
some real life experience, as someone who has had a program delayed, a project delayed for an entire year due to this wetland review. Kingston Point Park playground, or, parking lot, which is becoming more.
Oh,
wetland.
yeah, it's wetland already.
I've been given the go-ahead as in permit approvals to build, however. It is you can build, you have permission right now, you are not regulated. That could change at any moment, you might wanna build as soon as you can. That is my understanding as well of the project I had in the works that I can now do. Yeah, so.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyone who wants to help build Kingston Point Beach Playground, Park Playground. I mean,
It's got a weird name, doesn't it?
Place to park there. Anyway. It's happening. But my impression is that it's all in flux. And even the staff don't really have any idea.
Yeah, on the website, I think they had like, so I forget, it's condition, like, there, you can submit if you're unsure about a wetland, but I think that's probably a bit rare use case where they were, I mean, maybe that applies to that project, I'm not sure. I think at the top of their website, they had something. Maybe I misfound it. Okay.
This is the language, if you wanna see it directly for wetland to be eligible for protection, you must meet one of the following criteria, 12.4 acres or greater. January 1st, 28, 7.4 acres, previously mapped before January 1st. Mapped as a wetland of unusual local importance before January 1st. And protected 100 feet. Adjacent area. So that gets rid of the directional buffer then, right?
Yeah.
Directionally, what do you mean? When they established the new regulations, they were gonna do, instead of just like the very general 100-foot buffer around the wetland, they were gonna do a directional buffer. So it's just gonna be protecting areas that make more sense to protect, rather than say like a parking lot over here and then like some upland habitat over here. It was gonna be like protecting more of the upland habitat that was habitat for the wetland species, so it wasn't gonna be like a uniform thing. But it sounds like it's back to what it was.
Can I clarify, were our wetlands noted as unusually locally important before January 2025, or did they come only with the code changes?
Some of them were, there's an old map that has that.
Okay,
Yeah, well, we'll find that.
Okay.
Would be interested to know
which
how
ones
much
are
smaller our protected wetlands have just become
right?
for now. But
Are you taking that on? Will you check that? Okay.
You guys use the federal mapper? There's a federal mapper, and these were required already a long time ago to report any wetlands of that size, so it should be part of the map.
Yeah, and the state mapper is fine.
So are you saying there's ones that weren't on reported already?
Yeah, so DEC created this new regulation and they created a new informational mapper that you could use to see if you had wetlands that were not previously mapped by DEC. Or in the NWI, which is the federal mapper. And what this ruling did was essentially strike down the informational mapper as a tool. And those wetlands on the informational mapper are not potentially not mapped. You have to use the previously mapped wetlands.
Right.
It's a little
But
bit
when you required to report them, if you have them on your property?
to report them. I don't know anything about that. As far as I understand it, the state had things previously mapped and then they used GIS data to identify new wetlands. But I'm not sure about reporting and everything.
What would fall between the cracks, or like what I was pointing out at Hutton Brickyard, where
Yeah.
there were wetlands identified as part of the SEQA process.
Yeah.
DEC was made aware of them, and they did not map them.
Ah.
They had staffing issues with mapping, and everything that led to the wetlands law update. Yeah,
Right, like our mapped wetlands in the city don't include that.
that Hutton section, right,
Huh.
it's not in the NWI wetlands.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they're more than 12 acres, I believe, they're not listed for the state either, and it's not the only one, it's,
Yeah. I mean, when you're going off
you know.
grid data like that, so I think catch everything. Yeah, well, that's sort of, You're hoping in the future.
you're so open. Let's move on to tree preservation ordinance.
It's one. Something on that?
Yeah, I just wanted to check in and see if it's something that you'll be taking on again, or if it's kind of hit the skids or.
So I believe it was prepared by our city urban forester, correct?
Yep.
It's my understanding, anyone correct me if I'm wrong, is that if it works to go back, it would probably have to be heavily edited by the urban forester. And we might provide comments on it again. But we wouldn't necessarily be in charge of drafting that or, putting that into motion. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay, because was the tree ordinance also a requirement? With like this urban forester position, like were those related in any way, or was that just
it's nothing that's a requirement, it's just an initiative.
right?
But my impression is that the council isn't interested in looking at any future ordinance unless the community brings it up. And do that differently.
I have my own personal views on it that didn't get brought into the council chamber, unfortunately. But how I understand it is, I think, very similar to how you understand it. It's not something the council is ready to bring in. But there are those of us that would like to have someone bring it before us. Probably not too soon,
So would
because
it be more of a public initiative rather than, saying, well, could an older person be the initiator or not necessarily?
I think an older person could be. I just don't think go very far at this time, unfortunately.
And I don't know if this is anything you can answer, but I'm just curious if, is it simply because a big business owner rejected it? I'm just curious as to how it became so opposite.
There was a lot of community input throughout the process and the drafting, and it went before a lot of public comments. Over the year, 18 months or however long it was kind of in process. The final sort of very well timed, my hats off to them. The final salvo from those that were against it was very organized, very tactful. It went up very quick, and a lot of community response was. And so those all the people that were on that committee, that they were hearing their constituents about this particular tree ordinance and how unhappy they were. So, the positive public comment got washed out.
And was it ever considered like, what's the proportion of one versus the other? Was it simply because some emotional appeal came out and?
I can't really speak to the individual that, were on the committee.
Yeah, I just wondered, like, number wise, if there were more positive than negative.
From what I've heard, it was.
Can I ask too, it's my understanding of like the characterization of the negative comments was like mainly, well, maybe this is wrong, mainly a concern with like local government overreach and,
That was the big sell.
yeah.
So
It's
it's
a lot-
about private property rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that argument was eaten up a fine sinker by a lot of people. And, I understand it. I understand the argument clearly. I just think it was. Yeah, I'll stop there. Yeah,
No, I appreciate it. I just wanted to check and see if there's any chance of it coming back. And if it were community led, if that would, give it a chance.
I would say there's always a chance.
And
All right, I'm just gonna keep us moving.
Yeah.
Sorry if we went to.
No,
So I think we should, but let's, are there any other tree preservation ordinance related comments here?
Did we keep it on the agenda?
I think not.
Okay.
Can I make a comment later? So I know that the Conservation Advisory Council was instrumental in the open space plan and there was a lot of frustration at that time of the lack of involvement of the tree commission. The tree commission is not an active commission, but there seems to be a little bit of, based on today's meeting, they may be willing to step forward finally. Now that they didn't write a letter in response to the tree ordinance and one member of the tree commission went to the public hearing and commented that she was worried about it. So they were not supporting it in any way or giving any sort of venue for workshopping it. But I think that they're willing to today, that based on that meeting, that they're willing to start to think about ways to workshop it. And I brought up the Conservation Advisory Council to them, and they seem very amenable to working with you. They're talking about doing a subcommittee, and maybe they can do a subcommittee with members of your commission.
As in, we might provide comments on the new thing they can.
Or work with them to figure out how it could move forward. How the community can pick it up, because right now it really is at a standstill. And there's a lot of things that are going on with the Common Council versus the administration. And there was never in this whole year that anybody from the Common Council sponsored the legislation. So it was kind of left on the tree forester, who is a department head under the mayor. And so it's like, the Common Council never picked it up from the very beginning. They just kind of sort of like, oh, what are we supposed to do next? Oh, what are we supposed to do next? So in order to push the Common Council to actually bring it forward, I mean, they chickened out at the last minute, but they're not gonna lead it forward. So we've got boards and commissions that could actually look at this and say, do we want it to go forward? Or work with the community, because it's not gonna happen unless members of the community somehow magically put something together. But there's some hope. I'm just pointing out that there's some hope in the tree commission, that if you guys have any thoughts on it and what it should be and what aspects of it should survive, if any of it should, that there is an opportunity right now for you guys to do it. And the Common Council is not going to be doing anything.
Thank you.
I think my only comment at the end there on this thing had to do with the infamous black locusts.
Yeah.
And the inconsistency with Kingston Land Trust, the legislation is inconsistent with Kingston Land Trust management.
And there were still some inconsistencies with the zoning code, street design standards that never got fixed.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah.
address those. I was aware of them, but I left it to the black
Yeah.
locust.
I'd say we offered comments in the past on a personal basis, and
Right.
if this comes around for us to comment on. I mean, there's multiple tree commissions, so I think this is their bread and butter. If they work on something and they want to collaborate with us or want us to comment, we can look at it then, but I say we remove it off the agenda for now and wait if we hear something. That
I
makes
agree
sense.
with you, let's see us we'll keep our ears open for communications from tree commission.
Okay.
But till then.
Okay.
Neighbor notification, pesticide letter, and outreach material. This is also from Emily.
Jen, so I know there's been image going around, has a letter actually been sent?
No, we're not
Okay.
going to.
Oh, okay, that is, okay.
My understanding about that, lazy notes, I mean, maybe you're about to read.
No,
I was going to say, my understanding from Emily's emails is that the company spraying already know
Right,
that, they can use. Right, so they're already aware.
so there's no real point in looking at it.
And most of them are using the granular.
Got it.
To avoid it.
Got it.
they are okay with us talking about the yellow signs and the lack of legible dates, which I do feel like is an important aspect of the law. So we can call to complaint.
Well, that and the stores, right?
Well, the store has a sign,
Right.
which Emily sends us, so they're in compliance.
I think it was checking the other stores, right? Like the other big ones. Oh, but only,
Yeah.
right, in the surrounding, so that's right, that would be more of a county thing. We didn't. Yeah.
We did.
And then she suggested if we wanted to do more, it would be homeowner outreach, right?
Yes.
Which seems like you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So do we feel like starting a homeowner education campaign regarding pesticide use?
I guess what would I'm trying to imagine what that was entail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you have to be pretty careful with what you say.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about the whole, private use of your property and people wanna do what they want. I guess it would be more, yeah, not or tier.
So we had that one TV, it was pretty heavy handed. People in Kingston could take you at the first thing.
Yeah, we were right across from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think, something educational, but what are we educating?
Right, is it more, it's like, if you see the signs, this means this, or is it more?
Yeah, is it about the law or is it like, do we want to reduce pesticide use? Do we want to reduce certain types of pesticide? Do we want to tell them to use pesticide in certain times of day, certain times of year? Like, there's a lot of directions we could go with this, and we might need to workshop it. Or like, we want to do things.
Right.
And I will say, when we're moving forward, the non-toxic landscape management regulation that the city has adopted, the original draft also included private property. And that was released. So now it's city properties can't use toxic landscape management.
That's
Interesting.
And actually the part that was in question was the sidewalks. Because the sidewalks are open to the public,
right,
but managed by the homeowner.
right.
So, yeah, you could be walking on a public sidewalk and just be encountering glyphosate.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had, you know.
But that was taken out of the legislation.
Mhm.
Probably for the same reason as we're not going to tell people how to take care of our trees. We're not going to tell them they can't use Roundup on their sidewalk.
Yeah, but the non-toxic landscape management plan might still serve as a model that we can point people towards about how best to maintain their land,
Right.
right? I mean,
Sorry, city's leading by example. Check out our non-toxic landscape management plan. Feel free to, and we encourage you to follow the same principles on your property for these reasons, because it's important for X, X, and X, and X.
Can you send that around to us?
Yeah.
And maybe we can pull some best management practices from it.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And also, I wonder how many people know about the non-toxic landscape management plan?
No.
Did I know about it before I joined this board? No,
Did I know it?
It was advanced by this board.
there you go.
Prior to.
Yeah, so it was all the credit for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
I think it's smart, I think it's more smart for us to lean into the side of, you know, these are the regulations. And if you want inspiration of like, you know, best practices.
The county also has a non-toxic landscape management plan.
So,
Although I don't know what the graphic the county does. Are you with that?
I'm not.
Oh, my goodness, another one.
Sure can.
Maybe we can piece together some like informational thing. Program.
and how would we, yeah, well, maybe that's thinking too far ahead in terms of how we disperse that. Let's figure out our message first.
Maybe it's the industry.
Wonder which one is better.
Really?
The Ulster.
I'll let you know. It's probably better no matter what. It's probably, I would guess it's word for word, because I probably be like, oh, the county has it, let's just repeat. But no, it can't be word for word, because we did have language in there about. It'll be interesting to see what the county.
Yeah.
And if there's anything in the counties. That supersede ours that also applies to land in the city.
That would be great to know.
Great.
Yeah, I hope you don't have any new work to do.
I don't.
That's some rec might have to do. Some, yeah.
That's true, but there are exceptions for like poison ivy, other things, a couple other things.
Yeah. Does Tree of Heaven on there?
Did you?
Maybe we can put that in.
You
Having amendment. And actually though,
It's
that
not
could
very
be
much
something
to
we can
look
consider,
You
yeah.
might be updated.
Right, I mean, it's been at least 2 years.
Oh, it's been way more.
Uh,
That was pre-COVID. Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, you'll.
At least 21.
Oh, I'm looking at the city code, I gotta find the date on that. It'll give you the date, 23,
Yeah.
February 23, so we probably could. That's it.
That's good. What was it even called again?
On toxic landscape.
Non-toxic land.
Yeah, and the exemptions, just have. Yeah, exemptions, rodent control, poison ivy and poison oak, but not poison sumac. You see that there?
But you don't even have, it's happy to have poison up here. You want to have a lot of language.
Control ticks.
Okay. And so is this?
So I'm sure that, see that there,
That's an advice. Local law number 2 of 2023, if you want to look it up.
Okay, well, I mean, do we want to go through the arduous process of amending a local law to add in?
But by the way, the fact that it's a local law, not a resolution, means it has teeth.
Which is,
It's not just a fly-by-night head.
right, which also made this harder to change.
Is it really hard to change? Nothing is impossible. It's encouraging.
It's just like a couple of readings.
Yeah, it's just, it takes longer, but it's.
I mean, I guess, is there anything?
Let's look at it outside of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main factor should be if we think it's impeding. Yeah,
You should also know, and it's probably important to understand that number 2 states. Notice of the, if it goes on about waivers, and then it says, notice of the waiver request shall be given to the Conservation Advisory Council for advice on resolving the problem without the use of pesticides.
Shall it be?
Shall,
Well,
has there been a waiver request? No.
okay, well, because the request.
Now,
to go.
my friends, if you'd like a waiver request, send that to the
Should
CSC.
talk to the.
Actually,
Well, but it
the
would-
CSC has mentioned on multiple locations.
That's interesting. Wait, sorry though, wouldn't the city have to submit a waiver because only the city is regulated by this?
Yes, so
Okay.
DPW is like, I'm using Roundup. DPW would have to submit a letter to the CAC saying, at Post Office Park, there's this darn beetle. We wanna get rid of it. I'm giving you a waiver because if we can address it in Post Office Park, it won't spread all over the whole city.
So yeah, this seems mainly like a park discussion, right? Like on our parks management, because it's, again, it's not like a private landowner.
It's not just parks, it's when you mean parks, like the places or parks in the government.
I guess both.
Yeah, I mean, it's any, I mean, generally it would be DPW parks, but it's the water department,
Okay.
does landscaping,
Oh, okay.
got an sort treatment plant, like.
Mhm.
I mean, the CAC is referenced at least 4 times in this legislation, so at the very least, you should all be familiar with it.
We'll take a gander.
Yeah.
Is it, you'll send it to all of our emails?
I can, you can also just Google local law 2.
Chapter 371.
Oh, chapter 371 of our, in the E code.
Okay.
So it's pesticides and herbicides.
Okay.
And it's generally following the recommendations of the Northeast Organic Farmers Association, which, that's 3 years ago, maybe there's a better reference at this point.
How long has that been in effect? That's been a couple of years now, right? Has anybody been tracking to make sure that that's happening? I know that the street design standards, the engineer was not following them, and he was supposed to be bringing them to the Complete Streets Advisory Council. So he actually stated that he wasn't following them, stated like them, and we had to write him a letter at the zoning working group to tell him you're supposed to. We sent the mayor and a letter and put it on our public minutes that you can't be ignoring them.
My understanding, working in parks and daily with DPW, is that we are complying. Let's get it out of there. Wanting to me that we are complying, but I get the impression that we are.
That's good.
And I know that, for instance, in front of Kevin's house, there's like a massive poison ivy issue there, and we've used non-toxic management on that side,
Work.
and it worked.
Good, so maybe there's just not been a waiver because they're already, they don't need our help figuring out a non-toxic.
I would say there's also probably zero knowledge whatsoever to parks and DPW, and they would submit to the CAC for a waiver and wait 2 months for an answer on whether they spray something on a piece of land. But I also think that generally we're complying.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good.
Well, so I would definitely suggest that we all take a look at this code and then maybe also use this opportunity to see if there's any other code that we're conspicuously involved in.
There's not.
This is it.
Well, answer Jeff right now. Find our name.
And then I would like to maybe. I'd like us to consider keeping this open and thinking about what language may need to be changed
Sure.
in the law
Yeah, I think we should,
process.
definitely talk and pivot where we want to go in our next meeting about both this and outreach.
Yeah, and I do understand that there's a project in motion by the urban forester to address tree of heaven in some capacity.
Yeah.
So maybe it would be good if we can dovetail with that.
Mm.
But also my thought is if we're going to go through the process of adjusting the law, you should make sure we do a really comprehensive review of what other changes we might want to make.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, so it's probably not worth it just to add one plant,
Right, no, but we perhaps reference the state list.
perhaps reference the state list, and then we can just say it's the state list, and if
And
the
that's
state
not
changes, you don't have to change the law.
Right,
That's nice.
Are you an applicant by chance?
Um,
GLS.
Oh, no.
Okay. Just wondering, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I have, I wouldn't say any, like.
Or your mother lessons.
No.
We avoided it all.
Great, anything else on neighbor notification pesticide? Going once, okay,
So,
green amendment request from the Earth Law Center.
well, this was interesting.
So I think they sent around this stuff, it was late-ish today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was brought before the council last month, and then you said to look at it. Thank you. And
Thanks,
then,
Barry.
they also circulated this PowerPoint that they said that they secured it both and offered this draft resolution. Which you all have in your packet, and I emailed too.
Yes. So,
And it's and you might have mentioned the last, and like, the CAC has taken action on the green amendment. And the city has passed a resolution in support.
It was in support of the state amendment, but not,
yes.
it wasn't this thing we're committed to
right.
having working group.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah, before we get into it, I wanted to clarify. I know that Earth Law Center is a nonprofit. So, in terms of what they're offering here in terms of consulting and working with us to establish certain things like ordinances or working groups, would that be free of charge, I assume? Or would that be a paid service? I was a little unclear.
I have no idea.
You're asking.
Oh, here.
So,
Earth Law Center, sorry.
no, go ahead.
This is from a previous email. Check out if circulated last time. Center supported by the New York Community Trust is available to provide pro bono support to local and tribal governments or authorities on the implementation of their rights to clean air, clean water, and healthy environment. For more information or expressed interest in a jurisdiction-specific landscape analysis, assistance with legal drafting, or other services to implement and fund actions aligned with the national green amendment movement, please contact Florencia Torres, which is the name of the person.
Yeah, so
And the ask of the CAC is, would you be willing to introduce a green amendments rights proposal at the next county council? In March,
it's
which is kind of presuming that's,
oh, that may. Okay. See the body there.
You know, the one thing I like about this is the working group. Although I also question how many more
Right,
committees and groups the city needs.
right.
But at least this has really concrete objectives that it's working towards. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, that's sort of my thought too, is, I think we have a lot of working groups already, and it might be funny, even though there are explicit goals, it might be hard to differentiate this from our other groups in certain cases.
You know how much work it would be to do this like section 2 commitment to active implementation? It's not clear to me, it seems like a lot of work.
It seems like a lot of work.
And it's not like clear work, like requiring that municipal staff, boards and appointed bodies receive appropriate education and guidance regarding residents' constitutionally protected environmental rights.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yeah, well, I'll say too, I looked at their website and the legal precedent for this Green Amendment, and it's not very strong in the New York courts yet compared to other states where this is passed. I think right now it's kind of seen as this, I think it's always been deferred, like to whenever it's been brought up in a court case, something else has always come up, so there's no real clear precedent, like, okay, this Green Amendment can be used in this way. So I think a big part of this group's mission is to try and get it stronger within municipalities, to get it some wins in the court more often, so it has more teeth. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but.
I guess I also don't understand how the Healthy Environment Working Group is different than the CAC. And how is this all not like already happening? That's
Right.
like providing meaningful opportunities for public participation in environmental decision making. That's happening. Advancing notice, public hearings that are acceptable, transparent documentation, like happening.
Right. My overall thought is that we were already doing a lot of things that they suggest consultants to do. Like, we passed a lot of ordinances that they listed as examples of like things to pass on their website, like our like our whole composting program. They just that is one, and so I would consider this more, in my personal opinion, I was more interested in what other ordinances or what other rights they think we could work towards highlighting in the city. I think in their email, they highlighted like sewage and water quality. And I was interested in if that was the main thing they wanted us to improve, or. Cause I could see that. But I don't know if we necessarily need all of this to reach those goals, instead of working with them as consultants, maybe for a new ordinance or something to that effect.
I'm not sure how this wouldn't be extremely duplicative with Climate Smart and CAC already.
Yeah.
How would that be mutually exclusive at all?
Well, other than specifically working in the language from the constitutional environmental rights, that's the one substantive difference.
Yeah.
It's the review of the city
Would we
codes and things.
be able to get people to join that? Who are not already on CAC.
Yeah, I think we.
No, I don't think so.
We also have a nature rights resolution.
Already,
Yes.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, this is, we
Do
don't need any more proclamations that we like nature, I don't think.
you want to be our nature policy?
Nature proxy.
Yeah. That role.
I actually read that idea, that's what it was, Jen.
Yeah.
Of what? Of me?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I'll be an additional member as to the appropriate.
Local property managers. Yeah.
You already 30 then?
So, yeah.
Number 30.
Gotcha.
That's like,
There you go. Wait, what I got?
you're number 5. We're at least a whole list, in fact, one resident with age 30. Representing future generations.
That's me. So yeah,
Okay.
it says their examples are proclaiming or formally recognizing Green Amendment rights, or creation of targeted ordinances that safeguard specific rights. So I could see us maybe collaborating with them if they've had specific advice for, like, you know, the Hudson or water quality, like they mentioned in their email, but
Just in case you wanna, if you Google nature rights Kingston,
yeah.
it comes up, Kingston, New York is actively engaging with their global rights of nature movement. The Common Council unanimously passed a memorializing resolution establishing a Bill of Rights for the Hudson River and its watershed, and the city continually expands its environmental protections through its Conservation Advisory Council.
Oh,
What says that?
Yeah.
Google AI.
Oh, turn that off.
It mentioned us though.
That's mentioned. Index.
Right, that is also 2023. 2023 must be that.
Interesting. Has anything come of that? I mean, has the common council made decisions with the specific intention of protecting the rights of the river? Or I mean, yeah, they back
Well,
to any other
probably
cities?
passed a they probably passed a resolution opposing the barge anchorages. Right, I mean that. Right, protecting the Hudson River.
Yeah.
I don't know that any specific action that either in the executive branch or in the legislative branch has specifically said, this is to follow this nature rights legislation that we passed in. Certainly say that it's not. I.e., there's been no reference back to it at all.
Right.
So it was memorializing at the time, and it still exists because no one has rescinded it.
Right, but it's not like it's a law.
It's not a law.
Do we want to say we could pass on this, but I don't know, like maybe the right pitch, like I'm feeling like maybe the right pitch could sell me on something related to this, but just the resolution proposal and it's not that.
Yeah. Let's see, their original email specifically referring flooding along the Roundup Creek, as well as combined sewer outflows, threaten water quality and public safety. These challenges directly impact the health and well-being of our residents. The absence of strong regulations to enforce our Green Amendment rights puts both current and future generations at risk. So I guess I would be interested, I'm a little interested in what their recommendation would be in terms of flooding and water quality and sewage. Cause I think I saw on their list of example ordinances, they had like sewage or stormwater ordinances or things of that nature. That sort of piqued my interest if we wanted to work with them as consultants on something like that, but. I mean, they're pro bono,
We
so
can
that's,
keep that in mind,
yeah.
certainly. Yeah. My other thought about this is, adding additional requirements to the city and its operations when we know that we already have a number of requirements that we're not equipped with the capacity to enforce, that we know, or that we even know of. Yeah, maybe it seems a little,
Not the right time.
yeah, maybe after we grow to a city of 50,000 people, double the budget.
Parking reform.
That's the parking ones. Yeah. So I'm partial to let this
Sit for now.
sit for now.
And I'll just say as a staff member who would 100% be assigned with being now the staff liaison to this additional board,
Yeah.
that I would say that.
Yeah,
We're good.
I think the action board isn't clear.
You sure you don't need another 2 hours of meetings in your life?
I mean, how much overtime do people really want to make?
I think this is a base headwinds in the council. Or section number 2 specifically.
Great. So should we communicate back though to the person who,
Yeah, Julie, do you want us to take that on or?
It would be great.
Okay. Well, in our follow-up, would it be a clear no on this? Say, maybe something along the lines of, we are currently, I won't say at capacity, but something similar to that. We thank you for reaching out, like, we know that your services are available, if we ever considering, an ordinance, and we'll reach out to you if that's ever the case, something like that.
If it were me writing it, I would couch it not at right now, no capacity. Kingston, you would see that.
Right.
So we feel as though we're satisfying this already.
Okay.
We appreciate other communities that may need more support in doing this and more direction, but we feel like we already have a good handle on it.
Alright. Okay. I
And then it doesn't look like she'll
Right.
bring back to us in 6 months being like, well, do you have more than 1 year plate now?
Right, okay. Okay, I'll be a little more clear on that.
So would you?
Yeah, I can answer, be like.
We also need to.
If mistakenly, like at least 3 times in the thread, calling her Maria and her nick, and she goes by Flo.
Flow.
Yep,
Okay,
not Maria.
That's
Maria Florencia Perez, it's a Flo.
got it.
We don't need to. Deputize Ashley to send an email, right, that you're good with this, okay, sweet,
I'm not deputized.
awesome, so, new business, it's not new business. And then last, Jonathan, communications. Okay, you can take this.
Okay, great, thanks a lot.
Printed copy of this.
Okay, great. Let me tell you why, I came up with this proposal for the city to announce to proclaim itself as a bird city. One thing I recognized when I came to last meeting is you guys have just enormous number of things to get done. It's not really possible for all the things you want to get done to run through you as like involving you. So, last time I came, I was very interested in, ospreys in particular. There's 3 osprey nests, and so you think everything was great, but the osprey project started in 1966, so 60 years. The goal was to link the last remaining nests on eastern Long Island with the St. Lawrence Seaway ospreys. And so 6 years later, it's not really done. And you're like, that's a lot of time, a lot of people's effort. I mean, if you know, like you've seen how many nests there are on Long Island, you mentioned over New Jersey now. So what's the problem? Why is it going so slowly? So one part is that all the old growth trees that they like to nest in aren't available anymore. So we need to give artificial nests. Like Long Island has done that really well, and it's worked for them. You can see after they started doing this a lot, they got a big rise in their population. So we're supposed to be a node, because a node is something where you can regenerate all the osprey of like New York from one node, just the way they read this. We're supposed to be a node because we're a fisheries hotspot. They're all not quite obligate, but they are strongly preferred food source is fish. And we're a fishery hotspot because Round Creek runs in here, and the fish, as you probably know, are not homogeneously distributed across the Hudson River. They're located in like large amounts in different places. But this food source isn't quite enough. So there's 2 issues. One is quite simple, but even the nesting one is a little bit hard to get going. So Julie introduced me the idea, well, why don't you just think about some of the things we're already doing and seeing how these can dovetail. So I said, okay, well, let's think of her parking lot, for example, that she's about to get done. Audubon thinks it's great, but to just modify a light at the edge of the parking lot, put some brackets on it, in conjunction with a welder, and locate a nest right on top. So that's like something that's been done for like baseball. It doesn't have to be there at the shore. Like baseball diamonds often have around the country done this, and it works fine. So like I said, they don't need that much. They do need a nest, and the nests that used to occur are nothing like those nests that you see over there. Those are unstable nests, short-lived. The nests that come to develop are just like almost like eagle nests. They're different, of course. They can be 400 pounds. I mean, over a long time. So energetically wasted a lot of their energy by having them go to poor places to locate nests and then have them destroyed by storms or whatever. We want a secure place. It's equivalent to what they used to have, and then they will build over a long period of time, and we'll get to where we want to get to. So this is just a node, and we just need like say 3 nests in this area that are reliable, and they can build over time, and basically we don't have to worry that much anymore. Eventually they'll do. Okay, so now I'm thinking, all right, I don't want to bother you guys too much. So what was the key here? The key is to make sure everyone who has a project in Kingston City has an opportunity to think
about how they can impact wildlife in general, but birds in particular, because birds are a big part of people's lives in Kingston, of life in Kingston and the surrounding area. And actually, although ospreys are considered a general success for New York, the raptor community as a whole has been great, like you have eagle nest, so on. There's a lot of species that are doing really poorly in this part of New York. And Audubon is asking itself, so we put all this money, we redirected everyone's effort to give our conservation efforts, and we're still left with unbelievable reduction in the number of songbirds, migrating birds, lots of grassland birds, lots of these very important birds this region. So I look up what Audubon has shifted from, because like if you look, say 50 years ago, they're really into preserves, getting either buying a lot, or getting an easement, but eventually became, more reasonable to get an easement on it. Now they're into getting more people involved. For example, you guys might think a golf course is not particularly ecologically friendly because of the way it's managed. But actually, it's super hard to find that quality and that size of grassland in Kingston or in many other places. So instead of protesting against the golf course or something, have them change their practices so they're compatible with grassland birds. And so they have a whole program where they certify golf courses to say they're basically bird friendly. But in your case, you have a lot of these issues. Places, not even issues, but opportunities. A lot of places where we could take, and you've highlighted some of them, like the tweak skill, what's it called,
Twelve skill.
12 skill is an example of when you combine that and the cemetery and maybe a park, is that you get a large enough territory, a uniquely large enough territory to really make a difference in terms of migrating animals, because migrating birds, because there are few spaces for them, to settle down, even to rest during migration, let alone reproduce. So this could be a really big thing if we encourage everyone to do it. And through this Audubon sponsored program, what happens next after you have this proclamation, we have to go through a process. It's not just the council deciding or us saying we can do it and then encouraging representatives to vote on it. We also have to figure out exactly the language, go back to Audubon and see how that's worked in the past in other places. Because every city has a different tone to it. Like Boulder, Colorado, right, we got away here in Kingston with their directives, which is to preserve basically everything, like make it a crime to collect eggs and this and that. And it's maybe too strict here, maybe we need something else. But what I really like about it is the tone of it should get lots of people involved, open up opportunities, make it fun about this. Because this Audubon program costs money. Each person has to go through the survey. Even the parks, for example, could go through this process to make their parks more friendly to birds. If you look on the edge of every park, there's areas where we don't need to do what we do just unthinking, which is to manage it, just uniformly. We could manage it as a heterogeneous plot instead of a homogeneous plot, and that apparently helps a lot. Not for all birds. I mean, some birds are really big ranges, and we only have one or two of those opportunities in the whole city, but others are just are quite happy with little spots. And then you think it's going to be like this. One of the things Audubon found is you think it's going to be this really big project that's going to make a difference. But in terms of our propagation of nature, one of the things that we're thinking about is diversity. We really like to preserve some of these species that are disappearing from this area. And it's not always obvious where they're going to settle down for that day or two to rest and really make a survival difference. So that's why I thought the proclamation was good. The procedure, like I said, is a dialogue. It's not even if you pass, maybe if you said you just move along a process towards lots of different people, engaging with it. What I hope to do is for you guys to give me some feedback and let me think it's reasonable. Because maybe, we could cut it back. Maybe the whole city is not appropriate. Maybe it's just within a mile of, Round out in Hudson or something, or whatever you guys want. I'm willing to go large pack as I want, but if we start with this big mandate, we also have something where we could like write to the schools and ask if they'll, incorporate it into the elementary school curriculum, because there is a conservation part in the, in the New York State biology curriculum. So this would just focus it for them and they'd have a little conversation. It could be a local thing, as a way of getting some of our work. So basically, the idea is to, instead of us having to deal with each project ourselves, push this thought process onto every inhabitant in Kingston. So they think about when they have a little project, oh, maybe I can modify this a little bit, make it more environmentally friendly, sure, but more friendly to birds in particular. So you guys, that's what I wanted some feedback on. What do you think?
Well, I guess I just want to clarify, in this case here, your suggestion would be just a proclamation, not any sort of legislation.
Actually, there's like different parts of this.
Okay.
There is the proclamation of this. That's what we work towards. But it's an actual program. We'll go back to Audubon and they'll start telling us some of the things that we could do as part of this program. So they have environmental audits. Well, let's say they would ask us a question, well, so do you want to direct people away from certain rodent sites? Because one of the big problems, probably realize, is some of the birds eat the rodents. So when they're filled with this poison and they die too. So like, and they start giving us like, okay, well, if you want it worded that way, that worked well, or poorly for us in the past, or that practice didn't work.
So the cost, the $200 would be to enroll in this Audubon program?
It would be just, yeah, it's really, the really big engine of this is the education of all people. Just so they have in their mind, when the opportunity comes up.
Okay.
To do something else.
So essentially, and this is just all your suggestions, the proclamation, we enroll in this Audubon program, and I assume in return, they can help us in getting either practices done on city land or running educational workshops.
Yes, that's what they do. They have all these sub-programs. That if you were an individual, like golf club owner or something, you could join one of those sub-programs. Or if you were a school, you would join this. So yeah, it goes out, it radiates out.
And we would only have those resources if we enrolled in this.
Well, you're doing it different. You do like we would only this you're the city, so that's the only way you get involved. But if I was an individual cemetery owner, I would do it. I would start, with their program for cemetery owners. And the reason to do it this other way is I expect there will be economies of scale. For example, because otherwise even if you looped all the cemetery owners together,
Right.
that would be cheaper for them than, because this costs money, it's like $1,000. Like, it's way cheaper. Like, even though, I know it's a service and so, and it's not like immortal, it's way cheaper than buying things to get everyone to keep doing what they were doing before, just a little bit more friendly. Because on this basis, we can have everyone in the city starting, like theoretically, working for us, as opposed to it channeling through just, the efforts of the Kingston government.
So is this directly involving Audubon Society, people who work or volunteer with them to come down and do these interactions, or is this?
Yeah, like that's something we have to negotiate what this all involves. It's different for each program. This is only like the actual shape of this program is up to us. Like actually, I don't think it is up to us, but up to the city. Once we get this through, it'll encourage people to do it. And maybe, I mean, because like you guys can pinpoint on the map where easements would be willing to be, would reasonably purchased, for example, right? And that would come out of the conservation fund. Well, what I was thinking of, and this is controversial, so it's not really connected, but maybe we could use conservation money to fund some of these educational programs instead of the purchase of land. I don't know.
I don't think that's possible.
But, okay, then we'll use some other money, and that's fine. I mean, people donate to all sorts of things, but I think it's the way this works is, we just get a lot of people involved. Like, if you think of how we can magnify the impact of our work, that struck me as the way to do it. So much of the burden's not running onto you.
I really like the idea, and I also like your model for the cultural change. My question is what are the levers we're gonna pull to get the people of Kingston broadly involved in this? And part of it is this proclamation perhaps, but I also feel like, like you mentioned, our resources are limited, including our ability to make this proclamation happen.
Right, I understand you can't make the proclamation happen, maybe you can tell me, that you support it and that you need 500, signatures, I'll go sit on, at the point, get 500 signatures. But it's not like it's a single thing that we do, which is why people do. For example, Audubon found, just like with the osprey, that it's really key to have species-specific birdhouses. So, that's a program that comes out of this, which, the kids can work on at school, or parents are down at one of the, various clubs, after-school clubs. So it's just that, it highlights these things. And I think, there's no single path that we need to do, but there's a lot of paths to take to get this whole thing going. And that's what Audubon really has shifted in focus. If you watch it, it invests a huge amount on very focused projects. And now even I'll tell you, you're buying preserved land. I mean, the land bank is, I can see that some of it will be preserved land.
Land bank, are you confusing different things?
Like Kingston Land Bank,
Is buying land for preservation?
Do you know land trust?
land trust, yeah.
Land trust, land bank is buying it for housing.
Land trust, sorry.
And then there's the
Preservation.
community preservation fund, is not a conservation fund.
Oh, community preservation fund. Well, I'll call it conservation fund. I hope that's how some of it was spent. But okay, yeah, okay, thank you for correcting me. So yeah, I mean, they have some land, for example, they just bought the Wilbur Park property on the corner there, that's part of the upper roundout conservation area. And so it's logical that that would serve as a preserve, so this for the same, for significantly less money and effort, you get more opportunities to do things. Now, what each person wants to do out of this, I'm not sure. Let's maybe one of you guys works through. Maybe the river keeper feels like its role in this is to make sure that there's enough fish for the birds, just reasonable, and there's safe fish and stuff like that. And maybe that's their take on it. And maybe at some point in the future there'll be a pool of money to do this kind of work. I can't really speak to that, but it organizes us.
Right, so I've been trying to read to understand the program a little bit better, and
Yeah.
and maybe I have it wrong,
Yeah,
is that we essentially go to Audubon and
Yeah.
ask to become a bird city
Yeah.
based on actions we've already taken for bird conservation, and then they either accept us or don't, and then they encourage us to continue with education and things like that.
it's like a dialogue more. I don't know what the day in which, but it's a continuous thing. It's like if you do nothing, if you can't, if at the end of the year, just like any other sort of grant or opportunity, you can't show at the end of the year, end of 3 years, whatever it's gonna be, you made progress or done something important,
Right.
then of course you lose that recognition. That's true of all the programs.
Okay, but to get that initial, the bird city title, we would have to sort of apply for that for Audubon and show efforts we've done to protect birds on an A-brain.
We have, I mean, there are lots of things going on here that would qualify, you don't have to use something magical. It's like,
Yeah, what would be an example?
well, I mean, you could add an osprey nest, that would be, it's like,
Right.
there's not a lot of things, you bought preservation land, you have some of the greatest birding land in all of Hudson Valley, so the fact that it's you're working on the, like the park down there, just like access to the park and protection of migrating species on Hudson flyways enough. Plus, they have a huge park that just opened up, has like a zillion birds and.
And there's stepping stones identified in the open space plan, right?
Yeah, in the open space plan, there's a lot of components that overlap. I don't see, but how to get there, like the open space plan is not exactly a roadmap either. It doesn't actually tell you how we can get the fisheries better. I mean, it just highlights the fact that there's a problem there. Says, okay, let's have more open up the space to fisher people or fishers, which is a great idea. Except we don't like tell them whether it's dangerous to eat them or not, or keep track of. Us personally don't track of the fishery. But a lot of other people do. And we could like, okay, here's an example. Like, we can funnel, there's tons of people watching the fisheries, and we could create a little website that was part of the Park Service or suggesting the Park Service, I'm just mentioning Park Service because here. And put there like the information from all these things that sort of like how many fish there are, the diversity of fish, whether they're safe to eat. Like I'm sure you won't go walk around the different waterfronts and see there's a lot of people fishing every day, almost every day. Some of them are eating fish, and some of them are throwing them back because they say, "Oh, I would eat this." I mean, I actually asked them. But if you look at like the river keepers website, it'll tell you, "Oh, don't eat more than one a month or something." I mean, that's
new.
yeah, and we can funnel some of this data, and we should. Maybe we have a QR code. Like I was thinking, okay, maybe we should put like we have a pier, fishing pier, which is like one of the projects that's proposed or planned to do sites.
About now you have fish?
No, not just that, but a QR code maybe, so the kids like, particularly the kids I'm thinking, is they get in they enter their catch. So you get like, this is like a crowd version of the survey. I mean, you get them involved. That I didn't want to. It wasn't just to warn people, it's to get more people involved in this whole process. So then the fisher people become the allies of the birding pub, the birders who want, more fish for the birds, they want more fish for themselves. So great, we all work together to improve the fisheries. Then you can have on that, on that website, what you guys are doing, I guess, to help fishing. Yeah.
So for this bird city designation, do you need a proclamation from this committee or from the Common Council?
I think it goes like stepping up. First, you guys think it's a good idea, and then there's some route to you, I guess. If you think it's a good idea, and then it needs to go, but ultimately it needs to go through you. Like,
Okay, yeah.
I need it actually says.
Yeah, I think, in general, I'm very supportive of everything that's here. When you talk about sort of the citizen science that results from this one avenue. I think from the council perspective, we would want to see like, what are the costs? To the city. There are, what are those, what are the benefits in terms of economic multipliers, and what kind of either city staff or manpower would need to be expensed to implement something like this.
Okay, that's great.
And if there's like, ideally, those would be minimal costs, minimal hours and minimal expenses, just so that it's palatable.
Okay.
From a council perspective. But on the whole, I think I am certainly very supportive of the idea of this. I think, I don't want to speak on behalf of this apparently. I think that there are a lot of things that the city of Kingston is already kind of doing, and highlighted those very well. And so highlighting those in your presentation, your argument, your pitch, the things that are already happening, and where there's opportunities for, increased effectiveness.
Okay, great. That's
I
fantastic.
think it'd be interesting to sort of liken this to like the city's a tree city USA. Has
Right.
been
I was
a long
thinking-
time.
Yeah.
It's like, but that comes with global recognition.
Yeah.
And little plaque, like, things we actually physically have to check every year to get recertified, so it would be interesting to know if that.
Yeah, I think.
You want to know the details, okay? no
Yeah,
problem.
we're curious about like you're saying, like once we, get our application, get this title.
Yeah,
You're saying like, if we don't do enough, we could lose it, just like understanding that requirement better. Like what would be considered us maintaining that
Okay.
title, I suppose, each year.
okay.
Would be good to.
I can tell you it's not, and I know but I think what you're asking is what level of effort, because the specifics are just up to you, like how we shape this. Like not just up to you, but to this common council, to how we shape this and what level of requirement, but it does, like, as this council means, provide a lever, to make sure we do something. And that we can put our name to it every year, we've advanced, the preservation of birds in the community. So, like, an example, there was a city that lost it. It's, the whole state of Texas has made it free for any city in Texas to get this, title. But one of the cities lost it, and so the media were all over them,
Right.
saying they hadn't done, they said that we're a bird city, and, if you look, by the way, in terms of finance, the Fish and Wildlife, says that it's a $300 billion business. So this one city
Birding.
had converted,
Yeah.
and 1 out of 3 people participate, maybe even higher rates, I don't know. So, yeah, it surprised me, because it's a very trendy sort of thing. But this one city, yeah, it's like wanted to advertise that it was very, bird central for the migration map. Lost its qualification because they had done nothing. But it literally, you have to do nothing,
Mhm.
Okay.
And according to your plan, like it's up to you to make the plan and they'll accept the plan. But it's like
As
you,
part of the, okay.
but I mean, and on the plan, you do nothing.
Did the state of Texas budget pay for the fees for all the municipalities?
Oh, it's not that much. It's like I put in there, it's $200, so it's not like
Yeah.
a big part of
What's the
their.
$1,000 thing you said?
Yeah, I thought I heard that one earlier too.
Yeah, for some kind of training or something?
Oh, yeah. So that's the thing. So each like golf course, let's say you want to become a Waterbond certified golf course. That's $1,000 or cemetery.
But because we're a municipality just getting this title, that's not.
It's $200. And then my thought is that we negotiate, because we have a number of different entities inside of Kingston that would like this. We all go for the training, the process as a workshop together and somehow reduce this cost, because like the parks can be a part of it. Lots of people can be a part of it, and it would be.
Reduce the $200?
No.
Oh.
This is just some money. That's what I'm saying. This other part costs some money, and I can't tell you how much will negotiate, how many people.
The other part is in the education, like.
Yeah, the education, and also that, like, let's say we want golf courses to all be certified. It's reasonable, in fact, that some of because they're close to the watershed, or they're close to streams, that they do something, but. So we're gonna find this more out for you, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then one other thing, I think last time we had brought up the John Burroughs Society.
Yeah.
Followed up with that.
Yes, in fact, I've been writing to lots of different people, but
Okay.
John Burroughs actually didn't contact me back. But, one of the parks did, one of your parks did, the zoo in the nature center wrote to me.
Oh, that person is Congress equivalent to
Yeah,
Dr.
Mr.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
okay, he didn't say that. But he said they had put up, that's what I can understand, because he said they had actually put up the Osprey,
They is John Burroughs.
John Burroughs, I guess.
Yes.
Or he said they were counting, so I thought it was the nature center. Okay, anyway, so, John Burroughs, so he did get back, and he was upset that he had lost one of his platforms
Yeah.
a long time ago. He didn't know why, and we should just leave that, but it's not there anymore. They had taken it down.
Well, yeah, again, I think this is a really great idea. It sounds like there are some things.
Yeah.
With.
Yeah, that's
council
great. Thank
and,
you very much for your time.
yeah, and I think maybe we can add this to new business for next time to discuss further what we might be able to do.
Okay,
And I'll come back with you, with more info. That's
Okay, yeah, and one of the things I would really love to see is more. As you reach out to more members of the community,
Yeah,
if we could know who else, what other groups are interested in participating. I like your vision of everyone working on this together.
Yeah.
It would help me understand it if.
Who's everyone?
Like,
Who is fun.
A lot of burners aren't really part of anything. I mean, they could be if they, or they don't tell me, I mean, they can pay their dues, just some.
Right.
Do you have a club?
There are birding like organizations all around, you see in the fall during the migration, there's lots of groups going through that area. Your Park and Brickyard and
Speaking of, one of the things, just to highlight that we've already have been, I guess, city is
yeah, I don't know about them that much because I've only been here 2 years. I'm learning about that. And over time, different people have done a lot of things. But it's not like, I don't think it's like a coherent group.
yeah, interesting, just to see,
Right.
a small list started, some
Something-
just settings that have been already kind of in the forefront of people's brains.
we've sort of done things that have inadvertently helped birds instead of directly for birds.
Okay, well, I'm going to move us along then. Thank you very much. All right, CAC email.
I just want to put that on there because it is established and, I'm just checking in on it regularly, but I don't know if you will want to use it.
I didn't know we had one.
Okay, well, yeah. It's CAC@kingston-NY.gov.
Awesome.
So it goes in there. So I guess the point of me saying this is also that if an email is going to be coming from one of you on behalf of the CAC, it really could be coming from that, so that you're not subjecting that irregular email to FOIA.
That's a great idea.
Good.
Um,
And I mean, would you appreciate if, we also check on this email, or is it?
no, I don't know, you need to check on it,
Okay.
but I think that, for your own,
It's more if we send out correspondence.
Yes.
It's just, okay.
but if that's the case, then I need to know who would be sending out correspondence, maybe it's everyone, and then you would need to be given permissions to be able to use this email.
Okay.
Because you can't just currently be like, okay, now I'm CAC at Kingston-NY.gov.
So would this be for things like Emily, I know she sends like comments, like the Emily comments for the, the
Or you will enrolling flow,
right. Oh, really? Okay, so that instead of my personal, that would be,
right?
okay. Well, can I
Because
request?
personally, she's gonna be like, who's this rando that's writing to me?
Right, okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess I could explain it in the email, but that's better.
Yeah,
Which, I mean,
I just wanna do this, I'm just putting it out there that it is an option.
I think
If you feel like you want to use a more secure city email than your own personal.
I feel like it
Yeah.
makes sense for us all to just have the option.
Thank you, Joe. That makes a lot of
Do you
sense.
agree with that we should all have the option? To just have it,
Train them.
or just to be, have the email accessing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Okay. And
Awesome.
now, wait, I don't know if Kyle will have a limit on that, maybe his doctor, he's like, "Oh, yeah, wait, how about just the chair and secretary?
Then, okay, I called Vince Lem first so I could talk to them.
I don't need access, who do I even,
You're gonna, you might be also the same thing. As I said, I.
Well, let's see, if we can all have access, let's all have it. But if it's coming in, yeah, alright, great.
I'll just tell you to email something.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll do.
You tell Ricky.
Also great.
You tell me.
I'll tell Jerry.
We're still efficient here in Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, so let's move on to reports and updates. Did Emily have anything for public safety? I think she did not make that meeting.
Did you have any talk with your rep people about the county and EMC?
Oh, sure, I did. Yes.
Oh, does that come under EMC?
I was thinking it did.
Okay, no.
But, the RFP, you have an announcement on that,
Oh, she did.
Parks and Rec. RFP,
Do
do the
white
white
lights.
thing.
And for your reference, members of our council are other, members of other councils that report with updates section. So usually we have them give report outs on those meetings, because those are relevant to the work that we do as well, so that's the folks doing it. And
So we all saw the email about the Parks and Rec RFP.
Yes,
Is that something we should distribute within our networks? I think probably the people who would be responding to that, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, then, Emily, public safety, I think, nothing to report this time.
yes, there's no.
Okay. Climate Smart Kingston.
Yeah, Board New York City Lab did their final presentation. And the bulk of their presentation covered, something called the curb tool. It's all caps, CURB. And it's an interactive tool that's designed to help cities or municipalities, I guess would be a better phrasing, take action on climate by allowing them to map out different action plans and evaluate their cost, feasibility, and impact. This presentation got fairly technical and they were switching off as to who's doing which.
You always say that for the climate smart.
Because mine's our technical.
And it is, yeah, yeah. And the sound was a little like funky there. At one point, Betta, Melissa, and I were having a separate discussion,
Oh, really? I
and
didn't see that.
you guys were, the sound went dead
Oh,
for the meeting.
We also meet in the occasional meet at 20.
Yeah, so we were having a sidebar meeting, yes, when you guys are having a room meeting. So, but in any event, back to this. CURB it provides stages for climate action planning and also provides support and training on request. Other parts of the meeting included subcommittee reports on battery storage, outreach and education. The outreach and education included debriefing on the Green Sheen paint recycling event from May and the Earth Fair, which I think we've covered that here, so we don't have to cover it again from there.
We covered the paint of that, because.
Oh, no.
Not.
oh, no, oh, okay.
That was after our meeting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know the stats. Or maybe you don't know.
We got a lot.
We got, what was, it was something tons, 94.
Or 600 new cars or something. 600.
Yeah, I think it basically doubled from last year, right? The number of participants, yeah. And I would say, as one of the volunteers, we felt it,
Okay,
like the increase.
nice.
Got a real workout, but, you know, people were understanding and happy. So much paint, like so much household paint, and it sort of blows your mind, like. A lot of it, and I think a lot of it too was people's built up stuff from their basement and just, I don't know, it was satisfying. I'm glad we did it, and I think it was a lot, so that's good.
Fantastic.
So,
Well done. All right. Any other finance, Frank?
Well, yeah, the only other thing would be the repair cafe, that's what I was gonna mention, that's would be in June, last Sabbath in June. Clinton Avenue Methodist from 11 to 40.
So Emily did not make the Environmental Management Council meeting.
Yes.
I do have a couple things of interest from that, though. One is that the EMC is really interested in developing or expanding the county-wide natural resources inventory. You know, which is a big map that shows what things are where and actually prioritize conservation of. And there's already a countywide NRI, but based on Hurley going through the process of updating their open space plan and developing their NRI, they want to add a little more detail at the municipal level to help with municipal planning. And that's kind of just something to be aware of. I don't think that it's necessary that Kingston gets involved in that because we've already gone much further ahead in that process. But if you are ever interested in natural resource inventories or mapping, they're working on that now. So you could tune in. The other thing of interest is there are 3 municipalities, Rosendale, Rochester, and Marpletown, that are trying to collaborate on intermunicipal wetlands regulation. In light of the wetlands regulations changing and in light of SECRA changing, they're hoping to create some unified local ordinances because they share wetlands in their borders. It's really early in the process, but it's a kind of cool initiative. We don't share any borders with any of them, but you know, if it grew into something bigger,
That's an interesting idea in general though, because I assume some of our wetlands bleed into Ulster.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
so,
So, I'm keeping eyes on that. I'll update everyone as it happens there. And then the last thing with the EMC, as I said, August 26th is the EMC roundtable. It'll be at the Rosendale Recreation Center from 4 to 7, 4 to 8 maybe. Food will be provided. It's supposed to be very good.
Miss Ross is good.
I wanted to do Ralphie's.
Are you serious?
Yes, of course.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, well, I wanted to, but management, who you might know very well, is insisting that we go for an Ulster County vendor, and Ralphie's is in Poughkeepsie,
Yeah.
so. Which is too bad because they're just the best sandwiches ever. Yeah, I had it for the first time a week ago or last month, so I might as well go.
I'm having it tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, it just so happens.
I would say go all in and get the big one.
I think I already ordered. Big.
So, anywho, the EMC is asking that a representative from every CAC does a little 3-minute talk about either the greatest success the CAC has faced in the last year, or the greatest challenge
Wait, this is for the August meeting?
for the August meeting.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think I'm too new to do that.
Hmm?
I think I'm too new a member to probably do that probably.
well, you know, we could all pool in together and
Yeah.
figure out what the topic is, and if someone really wanted to do a presentation.
Do you think we need to have that as a discussion item for our July thing?
Probably, because if things don't change, neither Kevin nor I will be there for sure.
That would be great.
'Cause we have class.
So, yeah, do you wanna add that to the agenda? It's like a quick communication.
That's such a great idea.
I've worked for the list however many years, but I've only been gone because we're on, so I'm going either way.
Well, it's gonna be main course. The,
I don't think, of course, I have most of them involved, so from there,
really?
very fine.
Okay, well, you can make that story. Great.
You're very principled.
Community Preservation Advisory Board.
Yeah, so, we pass materials along to finance committee? I don't know what it's called, but okay, the finance committee, for the Kingston Wilderness reimbursement, they purchased that a couple years ago now, and kind of the whole idea behind CPF was to reimburse that project. And the board recommended it made a lot of sense, it hit our criteria, so we passed it along, and they were like, yeah, duh, we're gonna fund this, and I think it goes to comm council soon, or went to council. Oh, they passed it. Oh, well. Awesome.
Awesome, so that's that.
That's that, so we've had some other historic projects come across our desks, and there's some debate on whether and what we can fund, it's been a lot of discussion, so that's kind of where we're stuck right now.
So, sorry, well, I think when I last heard about it, you guys were developing a sort of, what would you call it, like criteria for what projects you would fund and anything. Are you waiting to purchase or do anything until that's finalized? I'm just curious about that.
Done.
Oh, it's done?
I did, it's done.
Oh, you did it?
I did.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and the group reviewed it, we have some edits for it, of course, but, for, conservation. The conservation side, we have that all finalized, the historic side,
That's great.
still.
Okay.
But that got referred to council.
Yes, yeah, really that was the recommendation.
It's an interpretation. case.
Okay, so you guys are ready to start buying stuff soon.
Well, we're not buying anything, we're recommending.
Oh, right, that's right. But that's right, that's right.
We need the numbers.
Oh, it's always fun, I think.
Okay, I think as of close of April, it's going to be, right. We will have our last meeting was, April, we had 57,720.88, including interest, for April.
In the CPF. fund.
That was just for April. A total fund balance, I believe at close of April was $637,715.68. Now, 34,000 and change has already been recommended to the council for the Kingston Wilderness Debt Service, so we gotta subtract that from.
It's just the debt service for now, so it'll be paid off over time.
Yeah, every year.
It'll be different amounts, but we'll be here all night.
Until when? 24?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
40.
Let's move
Yeah.
on to Kingston Organics.
Organics is not at your curbside this month, but hopefully it will be next month.
Okay.
Buckets are ordered, I approved the artwork on the buckets, they said less than 3 weeks, my truck's supposed to be here the second week of June, I'm pretty sure it's the second week of June, so there should be trucks arriving at any moment, the EV charging stations are installed, and I have 714 families registered so far, which is 7% of the city of Kingston.
Wow.
And we are ready to go, we've got our staff hired, we are ready to go once we have some of these things in place. Once I have the buckets in hand, the trucks in hand, I will be setting a public meeting and then setting this is how we are going to distribute everything. There's going to be 3 means of distribution. One is going to be a public meeting where you can come and hear me do the dog and pony show if you don't like it. The second will be, you can go to dispatch for a week and pick it up yourself. And the third will be, if you didn't come to us, we will drop it off at your.
Oh,
And then thereafter, anyone who registers, which as I've said publicly and will continue to say, I think the numbers will double the time the day I put the buckets out. We'll see it. After that, it will be a direct delivery to your door. So I'm currently hoping for a July 13th launch, but that's not public because I don't have the buckets yet. I don't have the truck yet.
You're still not doing like apartment complexes or anything?
We're doing apartment complexes if we currently serve you. Okay. If you're currently not served by the city, then you're not in the space. So
Next phase.
a future base, if you live in Stony Run and we don't serve you, we're not currently serving you. If you live in an apartment complex where we do serve you, we will serve.
That's very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm really excited about the program too. I have a question for you, because I've been using one of the sites.
Yep.
And, you sent a combination out.
Yep.
So I get on there and the lock is never on, and I'm just wondering, I know why people leave it off, because it's sort of a pain for everyone to remember.
Yeah.
Do you need it on or not? Because I'll relock it if you think so, and I'll tell other people to do the same, but if it's not that important, if it's just supposed to keep the lid down, then that's how they'll do it.
the purpose of the sheds and the locks is so that the purpose of everything that I'm doing with that program is to minimize contamination. So if I just had garbage cans out there on the side of the street, they would be filled with contamination.
Yeah.
If I just had a shed with totes in it that was not secured, I feel like I would still have contamination. The lock then also allows. The other purpose of the lock is not only to reduce contamination, but to demonstrate to people that I need to know that you are participating before you can get into the shed. And if they aren't locked, you could just be like, Johnny, start using the shed, put your stuff in, it's wide open, anyone can do it. But then I have no idea whatsoever, my volume of people, who to hold accountable if I have started that contamination, which sites have more or whatever people. So if we were to leave them all unlocked, anyone could just be saying to anyone, and they could be still saying, here's the code, use the code.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's happening.
Yeah.
But if it were wide open, I would think there would be more. The reality is, are they all probably unlocked right now? Absolutely.
Oh.
Are all of them, could you just open the doors right now? Probably, but it's been 3 years and I thought this would last a year.
Oh.
So those sheds have lasted 3 times longer than I
Yeah,
expected.
okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Where do you see in our future, and if so, when and how, getting big totes where you could do like a family's worth of responsible cooking?
Nope. At this point, we're not doing rolling totes, we're not doing big totes, and the trucks that we purchased are not able to accommodate that type of truck. Or the totes.
Making more buckets.
However, well, that's not true. The trucks are able to accommodate it, but there has been overwhelming input to DPW and me. If I get another tote, I'm gonna start leaving the totes out by the road. So people don't want another big tote. The fact that I'm even negotiating a 5-gallon pail is a negotiation.
Mhm.
That said, our next phase is commercial. So the K1 is already happening, KO2 is about to happen. Kingston Organics 3 is commercial we currently serve. So I already have a pilot of a couple commercial that we're working with. Commercial we currently serve are going to be offered a 32-gallon volume too. Once we get to like, then we're going to be considering residential we don't serve and then commercial we don't serve. That's like down the line. But either way, our current strategy is if you need more space, just get more buckets from us.
Oh, that's a possibility?
Yeah.
Is it a right away for us possibility?
Determined.
Well,
All
leave it
right.
at that.
So let's move it along here.
I was wondering, we, I can just
Oh, yeah,
all finalize, we've collected 104 tons.
that is awesome.
Alright,
104?
phase one.
I forget, did we reached 100 tons for Earth?
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So 4 times in the last month.
Sorry.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna say we've all read Emily's email about the Lower Esopus Creek Advisory Council.
Yeah, I'll note that, memorialize it in here.
Awesome.
Alright.
Then, can you get a motion?
Did we just confirm that there's a quorum for the July 14th meeting? Does that mean that can't make the July 14th meeting?
I think I should be good.
I'll be here.
Yep.
Sure. Sweet. Then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
You see, you do it like a natural.
Seconded.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
We're
Then we adjourn.
Alright.
I was just going, yeah.